with your driver and the effect that it's going to have on your ball flight. So here we have two swings from a player that are very similar. So we'll quickly look at a couple elements here. So here's our club head speed at 97 miles an hour. You can see that's exactly the same on both these shots. Quickly show you the difference that we had in ball flight. So this one here is the strike that was a little higher in the club face. So we end up with a carry distance of 187 yards. And then the more center hit over here on the right was a carry distance of 243 yards. So here we see one player with two very similar swings with a difference of 56 yards in their shot. Let's go back to this view of the club. So here on the left, this strike is very much in the center. So down here, we're going to get this measurement actually exactly in the center, 0 millimeters and 4 millimeters high. And here on the right-hand side, this is going to show 1 millimeter towards the toe. So again, a great center hit, but 24 millimeters high. So these two swings, there really is the main difference is only 20 millimeters in height as to where this ball was struck on the club face. And it's amazing to see how different the shot. So 56 yards of difference in these drives. This player's going to have a much different sort of emotional reaction to these two shots. And the only difference really was 20 millimeters as to where this ball struck in the club face. So this off-center hit, this shot here on the right, the main sort of negative effects that it's going to have on this shot and why this player lost so much distance. First is going to be up here we see this efficiency number at 1.27. So here's our club head speed again, and here's the ball speed. So this efficiency number is just a calculation of the difference between these two. So this transfer of energy from the club head to the golf ball. To keep the math simple, if this club head was traveling at 100 miles an hour and the ball speed was 150, this efficiency number, which is quite often referred to as smash factor, would be 1.5. So 100 miles an hour club speed, ball comes off at 150, be 1.5. That would be the maximum you would ever see. So this strike here is a little inefficient at 1.27 as the ball speed's down at 123. We look over here on the left, same club speed at 97, ball speed of 139. This is a much better smash factor or efficiency number at 1.43. So if you're practicing, if you have a launch monitor that's able to calculate this for you, being in the 1.4s I think would be a minimum that we'd be looking for. If you can get this to be 1.43, 1.47, those would be great numbers. And again, that's the big difference here is basically just where this was struck in the club face. So a big drop in ball speed, which is going to result in the drop of distance because of where the ball was struck in the face. We can see the path at 0.2 degrees out to in, exactly the same as on this shot here on the right. Club face slightly open to the target, 2.6 degrees is no big deal, 3.3 on this one, so again, no real differences. But if we take look at the bottom left-hand quadrant, this is where we're going to see our launch angle, which is 14.7 degrees, and a low spin. These are ideal conditions for carry distance. Compare those to the shot over here on the right. So a ball struck higher in the face, regardless of the loft that's on this club, if you strike the ball higher in the face, you're going to get this higher launch angle. So 25 degrees is above, or it's kind of too high. Think of a cannon. So this would be launching the cannon or launching the ball too high with a high spin rate is really going to knock the distance off of our drives. So if we see this 14.7 degree launch angle, and we know the carry distance was pretty good, if this ball was struck low in the face, now this ball may have launched at about 8 degrees. So if I go back to this, so if this ball launches even lower, you can imagine it traveling down here. It's going to be on the ground too quick. So somewhere between, let's make up these numbers, let's say between 10 degrees or 11 degrees and, well, this is 25, let's say 18 degrees, there's going to be an optimum launch angle there that's going to give you your optimized distance. So ball struck in the center. Again, all very similar other conditions to this shot. So an angle attack of 4 degrees up compared to 4.2 degrees up. Here's the actual loft on the club at impact. So regardless of what the driver says, that this may have been a 10-degree driver, but this player presented 19.8 degrees of loft at impact compared to 18.4. So even though the loft was lower on this shot on the right, it's the one that produced the too high of a ball flight because of this center hit. So looking at these two shots again, we see too high of a strike, so the ball flying too high, and a loss of distance results in that with the high launch and high spin. With a lower launch and a lower spin, we see this carry distance of 243. So that's a huge difference in the results of the shot. And the only thing that was really different, we have the same speed, we have the same path, we have the same angle attack, very similar lofts. The only difference was this center hit. So too often players are, the variations they're seeing in their drives, the results of their drives, they're really just coming from a variation of the center hits. So this is something we absolutely want to work on. This is kind of low-hanging fruit. Just make sure whenever you're looking to optimize your driver or get better at your driver, this is the first thing that I would encourage players to get good at. Get good at your center hits, because even if all the other elements were perfect, so this shot here on the left, this could be described as ideal for this player. Like, that's a great drive at 97 miles an hour to be able to carry the ball close to 250 yards. This is almost ideal. They could do the exact same thing, but get an off-center hit, and they're not going to like their drive. So you could have all the perfect or ideal swings, but if you're not hitting the center of the club face, it really doesn't matter. So make sure you prioritize this skill, especially with your driver for your practice. It's really going to help your consistency.